Welcome to PBS 39 Scholastic Scrimmage. Scholastic Scrimmage is brought to you by the members of PBS 39 and by
Scholastic Scrimmage is sponsored by St. Luke's University Health Network, the region's leading provider of medical education. For more than 100 years, St. Luke's has been dedicated to educating physicians, nurses, and healthcare professionals. To learn more, call St. Luke's InfoLink, toll free at 866 St. Luke's, or visit sluhn.org.
Support for PBS 39's educational programming is provided by the Deluxe Corporation Foundation, proud to support quality programming on PBS 39.
And now your host, Dr. Karen Walton, Provost DeSales University.
Welcome to Scholastic Scrimmage. This is the 8th contest of the 2015-2016 academic year. It's also the 42nd year that PBS 39 has brought you this academic competition. I'm Karen Walton, and I'm delighted to be your host. From now until May, the best and brightest students from 31 schools will compete for the honor of being the Scholastic Scrimmage champions. At the end of the season, the two final teams will win scholarships for their schools from the Air Products Foundation. Let's meet the team from Whitehall High School.
I'm Clement May, and I'm a senior.
I'm Tyler Hatch, and I'm a senior.
I'm Emily Emick, I'm a senior.
I'm Rafi Yakub, and I'm a junior.
Whitehall's coach is Stephen Adams. And now the team from Freedom High School.
I'm Jacob Clone, I'm a senior.
I'm Alex Pantaleo, and I'm a junior.
I'm Linda Mao, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Billy Sweeney, and I'm a sophomore.
Freedom's coach is Michael Evans. The judges for today's contest are Sally Campbell, retired English teacher, and Dr. Gary DeLeo, professor of physics at Lehigh University. Remember that the questions on Scholastic Scrimmage demand rapid recall of factual information and are not necessarily indicative of academic training. We understand the rules, so let's begin the contest with a toss-up in geometry, multiple choice. The measures of the angles of a triangle are 90, 45, and 45. Is the triangle equilateral, isosceles, acute, Whitehall?
Isosceles.
It is isosceles. And your bonus, multiple choice. The measures of the angles of a triangle are 30, 40, and 110. Is the triangle equilateral, isosceles, acute, or obtuse? Emily?
Obtuse.
Yes. Toss up in world history. Name the British monarch who was beheaded on January 30th, 1649 for high treason and other crimes against the realm of England. Freedom.
King Henry VIII.
Whitehall. Emily.
King Henry VI.
Charles I. Toss up in Pennsylvania history. A video question.
Created in 1754, this historic Bethlehem landmark is thought to be the first municipal pumping system to provide drinking and washing water in the United States. Name this landmark.
The waterworks. Toss up in mathematics. What mathematician is credited with inventing the common two-dimensional coordinate system? Whitehall?
Cartesian.
Goes over to Freedom. Time is up. It was Descartes. You are correct. It's the Cartesian system, and the adjective for Descartes is Cartesian. Okay, good for you for the try. Toss-up in world literature. The first 3 volumes of this writer's full collection of works to be published in Russia were presented in mid-November 2006, according to a Morning Call article. Included was the 2-volume first part of The Red Wheel, the writer's saga of the Russian Revolution. Name the writer, a Nobel laureate who had spent 10 years in labor camps and who was eventually expelled from the Soviet Union. Whitehall?
Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Freedom? Solzhenitsyn. Next toss-up is in biology, multiple choice. Earthworms extract nutrients from which source? First, small insects. 2, bacteria. 3, soil. Freedom?
3, soil.
Yes. And your bonus. Earthworms have structures called nephridia. These structures are analogous to what organ in humans?
Lungs.
Kidney. Toss-up in U.S. history. U.S. President Zachary Taylor's son-in-law was Jefferson Davis. Davis was also a president, but of a different organization. What was it? Freedom?
The Confederate States of America.
And your bonus. He had little sympathy towards slaves, but was fiercely opposed to the southern states seceding from the Union. What Pennsylvania-born president was called a doughface or a doughboy? That is, a northern man with southern principles in the mid-1800s. Alex?
James Buchanan.
Correct. Next toss-up is in mathematics. What is the range of f of x is equal to cosecant x? Whitehall?
-1 to 1.
Goes over to Freedom.
Negative infinity to infinity.
It is negative infinity to -1, closed, that is including -1, union +1 to positive infinity, including +1. Next toss-up is in British literature. Charles Dickens created Sidney Carton, the central character of what famous novel? Whitehall?
A Tale of Two Cities.
And your bonus. At the end of A Tale of Two Cities, Carton sacrifices his own life to save his 2 friends for 5 points each. Name them.
Elizabeth.
2 names.
Jeff.
Charles Darnay and Lucy Manette.
Right.
Toss-up in U.S. history. George W. Bush was the President of the United States from 2001 to 2009. During what years was his father the president? Whitehall.
1988 to 1992.
Freedom.
1989 to 1993.
Correct. You were very close. Very close, very close. And your bonus. George H.W. Bush served as vice president for 8 years with what American president? Alex?
Ronald Reagan.
Yes. Toss-up in mathematics. Pheasant chicks formerly sold at $1 each, but they are now on sale for $9 a dozen. In lowest terms, what is the ratio of the former price to the sale price? 4 to 3. The former price was $1. The sale price is $9 over 12, and so on. Next toss-up is in physics. Convection is a method of heat transfer that occurs when energy is transferred by the mass motion of groups of molecules. What is the name given to the transfer of energy by the direct contact of molecules? Not by
Induction.
freedom.
Induction. Induction.
Whitehall? Emily?
Conduction.
Conduction. He said induction. Bonus. The rate of heat flow through a cylindrical rod is approximately proportional to the temperature difference between the ends. What do we call this proportionality constant? It is thermal conductivity. Toss-up in American literature. As of 2013, presidents have included poets 5 times in their inauguration programs. What poet recited The Gift outright at JFK's inauguration? Whitehall.
Robert Frost.
Yes. Bonus. The headline of 2008 Morning Call article states, quote, "Poetic justice for vandals who trashed Frost's home," end of quote. The more than 24 who were involved in damaging this well-loved poet's former Vermont home were required to take courses in Frost's poetry, specifically The Road Not Taken and others. Why would The Road Not Taken be appropriate to this case? Emily?
The road not taken has to do with the choices that we make.
Yes, how they affect our lives. And obviously those vandals made the wrong choices. Music. Which great composer of march music became conductor of the U.S.? Freedom.
John Philip Sousa.
Bonus. Identify the musical instrument whose name completes Thomas Beecham's alleged statement, "The sound of the blank resembles that of a bird cage played with toasting forks." Name the keyboard instrument that produces sound by plucking. Alex?
The harp.
Harpsichord. Harpsichord. Toss-up in physics. Even if the walls in a building are perfect sound absorbers, such that no sound is reflected, one could still hear a conversation going on around a corner. What wave process accounts for this fact? It is diffraction. Toss up in U.S. geography. Name the famous bridge in the United States pictured on the monitor. Whitehall.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
Bonus for 5 points each. Name the 2 places that the Golden Gate Bridge connects.
San Francisco.
Emily?
San Francisco and Berkeley.
San Francisco and Marin County. So you did get 5 points. Next toss-up is in mathematics. If you select one card from a standard deck of 52 playing cards, what is the probability of getting a 10, Jack, or Queen? Express your answer as a proper fraction. Whitehall?
3 over 13.
Yes, and your bonus. This is a 2-part question. For each part, express your answer as a proper fraction. An integer is randomly selected from a set of integers from -5 to +5, including -5 and +5. For 5 points each, what is the probability of the following? First, the number is 0. Emily?
1/11th.
Correct. The number is even. Emily?
4/11ths.
5/11ths.
Does it
Okay.
count as even? I thought it was
Remember, zero is an even number.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The contest is in the halftime period, and so Whitehall is 65 and Freedom is 45. Very good contest. Can easily go either way. At the first round, we asked the students to tell us something about a hero whom they might have, or a mentor, a role model. So let's begin with Whitehall. Clement?
My role model would be my youth group leader, Sam Chen.
Thank you. Tyler?
My role model is my mom.
Emily?
My role model is probably my sister. She's always looked out for me, and she's my best friend.
Your older sister is an older
Yeah.
sister, mine as well. And Rafi?
My role model would be my father.
Thank you. Let's go over to Freedom. Jacob?
My role model would be someone from history, Eddie Rickenbacker.
All right. And Alex?
It would either be my grandfather or General Patton.
Linda?
My role model would be my sister.
Older sister?
Yeah,
yes.
older.
And Billy?
My role model would be a priest at my church.
Thank you. Next toss-up is in British literature. In Wuthering Heights, Emily Bronte created a memorable portrait of this volatile family with 2 children and a foundling. What is the family's name? Earnshaw. Emily was having a tough time with that one. U.S. history, multiple choice. What determines the number of presidential electors in a state that a state receives? Is it 1, the state's representation in Congress; 2, the number of votes cast in the previous election; 3, a certain number is voted and agreed upon by the Electoral College; or 4, the strength of a particular party in a state? Whitehall.
1.
It is 1. Bonus. By what time on January 3rd does the 20th Amendment require Congress to convene? Emily?
11 a.m.
Noon. Art. The French cathedral seen on the monitor can be identified by the mismatched spires on its campaniles. It is also known for having most of the original stained glass still in place. Name it. Freedom.
The Notre Dame.
Whitehall. Chartres. Chartres is the name of the church. Beautiful dark blue and dark red windows. Mathematics. The sum of 2 consecutive natural numbers is 525. Find the 2 numbers. Whitehall?
262 and 263.
Yes, and find 3 consecutive natural numbers whose sum is 804.
What?
Emily?
230, 238. You need 3 numbers. 238, 239, and 240.
Consecutive numbers
Yeah.
are 267,
Yeah, I was getting that.
268,
18.
269.
And then that would
Toss up in U.S. geography. The highest mountain peak in the eastern United States is Mount Mitchell. In what state is Mount Mitchell located? Whitehall?
New York.
Freedom?
West Virginia.
North Carolina. Next toss-up is in physics, multiple choice. Consider the following characteristics of sound shown on the monitor: loudness, pitch, timbre, overtones, waveforms. Which of these physical quantities determines the frequency of a sound? Freedom
Pitch.
is correct. Your bonus. For 5 points each, answer the following questions using the characteristics on the monitor. The physical quantity related to the energy of a sound wave is called what?
Loudness.
You are correct, Alex. And the next one. The quality of sound depends on the presence of what? Alex.
Overtones.
Yes. Toss up in world history. In the Bible, Saul of Tarsus is better known by what name? Freedom
Paul.
or St. Paul? Bonus. St. Paul was executed in Rome during the reign of what Roman emperor? Alex?
Augustus.
Nero. The next question is in language arts. Correct the error in the sentence on the monitor. Her novel was praised for its style.
There should be an apostrophe in the its.
Over to Whitehall.
It
Emily?
It should say its content rather than what it has to say.
That is correct, and now your bonus. The sentence on the monitor is another example of faulty parallelism. To gain entrance, they tried both persuasion and to force their way in. For 5 points each. First, the sentence uses a noun paired with what type of construction? Emily?
A prepositional phrase.
An infinitive phrase.
Right.
And second, how would you correct the error?
And force.
Emily?
I would change the end and force, the to force their way in, to persuasion and force. Or you would change the persuasion to persuade or to force their way
Yes.
in.
Mrs. Campbell will accept that. Next toss-up is in world history. The Iraqi Air Force was relatively inactive during the Persian Gulf War. In which neighboring country did many of Iraq's...
Saudi Arabia.
I will continue. In which neighboring country did many of Iraq's airplanes land to sit out the rest of the war? Whitehall?
Iran.
Is correct. And your bonus. Which type of plants or factories necessary for the production of fresh water in Saudi Arabia were threatened by the millions of gallons of oil flowing into the Persian Gulf in 1991? Emily?
Purification plants?
Purification, be more specific.
Water. What is that? Water, like purification plants?
Dr. DeLeo, will you accept water purification plants? They will not. It is desalinization, meaning taking the, yes, okay? Close, but not acceptable. Biology, multiple choice. Adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, provides the energy for most cellular functions. What type of molecule is ATP? Is it A protein?
It is a
Freedom?
It is a protein.
I will continue for Whitehall. Is it A, a protein, B, a carbohydrate, C, a nucleotide, or D, a lipid? Whitehall?
A carbohydrate?
It is a nucleotide. Toss up in world literature. In Sophocles' tragedy, Oedipus the King, Oedipus unknowingly committed 2 offenses in trying to escape the Delphic oracle's prophecy. Name those 2 offenses. He killed his father and married his mother. How frightening is that? Next toss-up is in world history. Name the document that lists English rights and privileges that were freedom.
The Magna Carta.
Yes, and your bonus. For 5 points each, who or what came first chronologically in each of the following groups? First, the Magna Carta or the Spanish Inquisition?
The Magna Carta came first.
Alex?
The Magna Carta came first.
Next, Plato, Aristotle, or Socrates? Alex?
Aristotle.
Socrates. Next toss-up is in mathematics. What is the binary number equivalent of the Roman numeral X, I, X? Whitehall?
19.
Freedom? It's 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. Emily, you were correct in base 10, but since I said binary, you had to convert it to base 2, so good try. The contest is over. The final score is Freedom 70, Whitehall 90. Two excellent teams. Our thanks to Freedom High School for participating. Congratulations to Whitehall High School. We'll see you in round 2 later in the season. Thank you for watching and supporting these excellent students. Please join us next week for another contest on Scholastic Scrimmage.
Scholastic Scrimmage is brought to you by the members of PBS 39 and by
Support for PBS 39's educational programming is provided by the Deluxe Corporation Foundation, proud to support quality programming on PBS 39.